What is good, Cold Hour fam? It is your boy T Raglan, joined by my boy
Mateo Rico, keeping it 100 out here.
And we got a special guest for you today on the Cold Hour. We got my boy Johnny Gonzalez. You want to introduce yourself?
What's up, guys?
And we're here to be talking about Johnny. He
This is Mateo. Thank you for tuning in. We're super stoked to have Johnny Gonzalez. Johnny, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Johnny Gonzalez, 23 years old, originally from Fontana, California, and just a kid that has a dream like everyone else and just wants to make something of themselves, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make it happen.
How many years in comedy are you now?
A little over 1 year. I started in April of 2018. So.
and you just jumped straight into it, like.
Well, I've always wanted to do it ever since like growing up. I've had this dream to be, to tour the country and have people pay money to come see me talk. I'm just trying to be on that type of level,
Right. And comedy is helping you do that. I mean, so we grew up in high school. We went to high school together, played soccer together. So I don't want to say we have a past because that kind of sounds romantic, and we're not romantic.
We do have a past.
We have a past.
Homie.
We have a history. We're homies.
Yeah.
So you've always been the funny guy to me. So, I mean, I guess it didn't take me out of the blue because I could see it. I mean, Johnny's always had that comedy, but I didn't know that you're actually going to go full send and be a comedian. So it's pretty cool that you're doing that. Was the journey going through that, like trying to figure out how to be that instrument that you wanted to be to talk to other people? Did you know that comedy was going to be that for you? Or were you like, hey, I'm kind of funny, people laugh at me, I'm going to see what this thing can do?
Excellent question. First of all, appreciate it.
Yeah.
For saying all that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I just always had this dream, just like, just growing up, I would always watch like the comedy specials on like Comedy Central with my dad. I remember vividly watching Cat Williams' special where he's wearing the green jacket and like my dad's outside like on the grill, making dinner.
Right.
That's like a huge part of my childhood.
Comedy was always something within the house.
It's always a big thing in my house, especially like with my family. We always just like joke around and like shoot the shit with each other.
No, and I know your brother too, and so like I know you guys are ones to be funny, and you guys would be funny with each other, and so like I said, the comedy thing fits. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it was definitely right up my alley, and I would say I wouldn't say it comes easy to me. But it's like I definitely have a gift. I definitely feel like I have a talent for this. Because I remember junior year, we were doing a Socratic seminar in my English class. And we're talking about like the Crucible or something like that. And then
one of those books.
One of those books you read in high school. And then so the Socratic seminar, if you don't know what it is, basically everyone gets in a circle and talks about
discusses whatever the said topic is.
What chapters you read.
Right.
And I didn't read any of this, but I'm like I don't want to.
You don't want to like.
Yeah, I didn't
seem
read.
Stupid.
I didn't read any of it, so I didn't want to just sit there and
there.
not say anything. So, I just repeated like stuff like other people said, and kind of like
in different ways,
added on to it. Yeah, like
right.
Following what Wyatt said.
Yeah, just tagging
this
along.
And this, and just adding on to it. And then people would laugh.
Right.
And they would all like laugh and it's just like I'm not even trying to be funny. Like I'm trying to get a good grade. I'm trying to pass. Like, but you guys are just laughing.
You guys are going with.
It was like imagine if I actually tried to make you laugh.
Right.
How would that work?
Now, I've heard on like videos of like comedians talking about doing comedy and how tough that can be with like trying to make somebody laugh when they're going to see you make them laugh. I feel like it's a lot harder. It's almost like a magician doing a trick in front of you when you know they're trying to fool you. So is it the same sort of thing? Like, do you have to write jokes in a certain way to make sure that they hit, or what is it?
I feel like it's definitely a lot harder because the thing with comedy is a certain level of the element of surprise.
Right.
And if you're paying money to go to a comedy show, you kind of have an idea that like these people are gonna try to make me laugh.
Exactly.
So it is kind of difficult, but that's just like the beauty of it.
It's where you find the enjoyment.
Yeah, exactly. That's
right.
where what's really funny because
right.
they're expecting to laugh, and then you can make them laugh. So that makes you feel good.
Dope.
And the way I write, it's kind of like that Kanye West bar I like to relate to, where he says, "I don't write my stuff, I think them."
I don't write my bars, I think them, or something.
Yeah,
I know what bar you're
I
talking
don't
about.
write my bars, I think them. So that means I forgot better shit than you ever thought of.
Damn.
So it's like, I'll just be at work and I'll just think of something funny, or I'll just make myself laugh, and then
Do you find those instances happen often? Like, do you find yourself laughing at your own jokes in your own head a lot?
Yeah, because pretty much all my jokes are just like what I think is funny. You know, the reason why I'm writing the joke, or I think it's even a joke, is because I think it's funny. So,
right.
So I'll be at work, or I'll just be driving, and I'll just be doing whatever, watching TV.
Right.
Or I'll be hanging out with my family.
Right.
And something funny will come up, and then I'll just, if I'm like with people and I don't want to like kill the mood or just like leave the room, I'll like go to my notes on my phone and I'll write it down on the notes, so then I'll come back to it later.
Do you feel like a lot of people question you about that? Because I find myself writing a lot, like in public personally, but do you feel like anyone like ever comes in and is like, hey, what are you doing, like what, like asking you basically on what you're writing and how you're writing?
I feel like people really don't give a fuck, to be honest. Or like when I'm in public writing stuff, I'll try to keep it discreet, because the way I prefer to write is, like I said, I'll think about the joke, and then I'll go on the voice memo on my phone, and then I'll just record my thoughts. Pretty much, I'll just be thinking out loud, just recording my thoughts, and I'll listen over a couple times. Make sure I got the timing right, or make sure I got the idea right.
How do you know you get timing right? Like, how do you practice that without an audience? Like, how do you know you figure it out to where it is funny? Because timing is everything in comedy. Like, you gotta know when to deliver the punchline.
Yeah, I would agree. How I work on timing is normally, like, when I get booked for a show, they tell me, oh, you're getting booked for 7 minutes, or you're getting booked for 5 minutes, or you're getting booked for 3 minutes. So you pretty much know beforehand how long your set is gonna be. So, like, if I'm getting booked for a 5-minute show or a 5-minute spot, I'll write the jokes, and I'll write all the jokes I want to put together, and I'll say it and make sure it's within the 5 minutes.
Got it. Yeah, got it. What's the longest show you've done? Like,
longest show, probably about like 7 minutes. Yeah. I started off doing 3 minutes, and then you move up to 5 minutes, and then you move up to 7, and then eventually 10, 15, 20, 30.
I didn't know it started so low.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. But then you think about it, like, that's pretty long.
It's usually like open mic nights.
Okay.
Bring your best 3 minutes, and then you get 3 minutes to go.
How many shows have you performed at so far? Like, roughly, if you had to give a estimate.
I started over a year ago. I've been doing like at least one show a month.
Wow.
But sometimes I'll do like 3 shows a month, 2 shows a month. I really want to get to the point where I'm just doing like 1 show a week, or multiple shows a week, or 1 show a day,
right.
1 show a night. That would be ideal.
So most of your jokes, though, for your shows, and you gave us an example of what your show is going to look like, because we haven't been to a show, but you definitely invited us to your show coming up
Wednesday, August 23rd.
August 23rd.
2019.
The 28th, August 28th.
28th.
August 28th. This next week for us, you're going to be doing a show. So showed us some material. What is most of your material? I know you're talking about the jokes kind of come to you. Do they circle around like your life and like your experiences, or are they just kind of random? And I say random, but not in the most random way, but just kind of like spontaneous ideas, or do they kind of follow a certain trend? Most of your jokes, I'm saying.
I feel like most of my jokes have to do with my life in some way or another.
Right.
I try to like relate to the audience and try to be a real person,
As real and genuine.
Yeah, as real as it gets. And like one of the jokes I have, it's about Tinder and Yelp need a collab.
Yeah.
It's that joke. And
you don't have to tell. I don't want anybody to
No, I'm not going to tell it.
I want them to go to your show.
The way it came about is I did go on a date, but I didn't meet this girl off Tinder.
Right.
I just felt like Tinder's funnier.
Right.
People could relate more if I said, "Oh, I met this girl on Tinder."
Right. More people are.
Yeah, people could be like, "Oh, okay,
yeah."
yeah."
That's
so
awesome.
it makes it more relatable. So
Have you ever used Tinder?
Hey, come on, man. Talk about that off.
Did you ever go on a Tinder
camera.
date? Have you ever gone on a Tinder date?
No, I've never met up with anyone on Tinder.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know. I've heard stories. Neither have I.
I've heard stories. Like one of my coworkers, she's actually going through a divorce right now, but that's neither here nor there. She said she met her husband off Tinder, and they have like 2 kids together.
Tinder's successful.
I want to jump into this Tinder topic. Like, why don't you? Like, why is it that you don't stay on Tinder? I don't know why. Yeah, I'm just asking a question.
I feel like it's just not. I'm not going on Tinder to look for Mrs. Right.
No.
I'm
gonna have to.
And I feel like most of the girls on Tinder are like looking for something serious.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like, why are you? I don't know. I wouldn't. A lot of people do. A lot of people meet their ones, I guess.
No, yeah, there are a lot of stories. It's surprising to me because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I met my boo off a Bumble."
But then again, is it really the one? Like, are they really the one?
It is for them,
For them, it is. But for some said girl at some said job.
All right. Well, where do you feel you're gonna find Mrs. Right? I'm not pressing you for it. It's just like, where? What's your ideal scenario to find Mrs. Right?
Like a comedy show. Like
definitely, it has to be organic, like nothing forced.
I think that's what Tinder is. I feel like it's so forced.
It's so forced.
Yeah,
it's so forced. Like you gotta
sign up.
You gotta connect with like Facebook or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Make a new Facebook because you haven't been on that shit in years.
Honestly.
And you forgot your password.
Honestly. So we got this new show coming up next week.
Yes, Wednesday, August 28th.
Where is it at?
It's at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, California, and the show starts at 8 o'clock.
Starts at 8 o'clock.
I have 20 free tickets. Whoever wants a free ticket, just hit me up.
Yeah.
On Instagram,
Johnny,
or Twitter.
Yeah. Let us know if you want to get contacted after hearing this. You can hit us up on our social media page, and we'll definitely get you in contact with him about getting those free tickets to show up at Flappers Comedy Club at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, August 28th.
Yeah, all you got to do is show up, have a good time.
Yeah. It's free. Might as well just show up.
Just a free smile, pretty much.
And I've heard from my boss that it takes less muscles in your face to make you smile than it is to make you frown.
Wow.
So you're welcome. You're welcome.
Your boss is a wise man.
Big facts.
Who's your favorite comedian, I should say? We had a comedy special on Cold Hour talking about comedians and the comedians that we appreciate, but who are your favorite comedians?
Well, I'm really interested to hear about your guys' favorite comedians, but I'll let you know mine first. Well, obviously, stating the obvious, there's Richard Pryor,
right?
Eddie Murphy,
the classics,
Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, all those the classics,
big names,
yeah, big names. I also like growing up, I was a Dane Cook fan. I know a lot of people aren't a fan of his.
Due to his raunchiness.
Yeah, yeah.
But there is that style of comedy that a lot
There
of
is.
people are. It's like a cult following. On
Yeah, and then
comedy.
when I got into him, I was like really young. I was probably like 11, so
Uh-huh.
like I really didn't know any better, you know. So
Right.
I thought it was funny.
Right.
So I would say him. I would say Daniel Tosh. I would say Cat Williams.
Do you study? Do you study them, or do you like now that this is more than just like a passion, like it's more of a craft now that you're working at, that you've been a year in? Do you find yourself like looking back to them and trying to portray them in a way when you're doing your comedy sketches, or I'm not sketches, I'm sorry, performances, or shows?
I'm glad you bring that up because the one comic who I do try to I wouldn't say copy or mimic. I would say like kind of just like relate or, you know, do the same style.
Right.
His name is Gerard Carmichael.
Mm.
He's probably my favorite comedian right now.
Right.
Not a lot of people know about him because he doesn't have Netflix or he doesn't really have social media. But he has a couple of HBO specials, and he has.
I've heard of him.
Yeah,
but
he had a show on NBC called the Carmichael Show.
Is that the guy? Is that the same guy that interviewed Tyler? Was that?
Yeah.
Him.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
He
So
does stuff like that.
he did an interview on Tyler the Creator.
Fuck, I need to look into him.
Yeah,
now.
and then he's also on. I don't know if you've seen the Shop.
No.
It's like LeBron's
Yeah.
show.
Oh, where they
HBO.
bring on like 10 different.
I've heard
guys.
him.
Yeah, they're in like
Yeah.
a barbershop. Like
Yeah.
he's been in that.
Oh,
a couple
okay.
times.
I've heard of him. I was wondering why I couldn't remember what it was, but we talked about him on the
That's
Igor
what it is.
album. He did a couple of voice things on the Igor album, so I know who you're talking about. So that's really interesting. So what
He
is
seems
it?
like an interesting man now. Now, I mean, given the information and like
Yeah,
what you're
everything
saying
that
behind-
he's been doing.
like he has to be a very interesting individual.
does.
Yeah, I would really recommend watching his stand-up specials if you have HBO or HBO Go or anything like that. They're really interesting, and I like his style because it's not really just like basic. It's not like a setup punchline. It's more like a conversation.
Right.
It's more like a.
Very relaxed.
It's controversial. Really.
Natural.
Yeah, it's natural, and it's
Natural,
like it's
genuine.
controversial because he tries to like challenge the audience and their beliefs and the way they think, and you know.
One more time, what was his name?
Gerard Carmichael.
Gerard Carmichael. I'm definitely gonna check him out
Me too,
because there's a
yeah.
lot that's been interesting me with him doing the Igor album, doing the comedy, doing the talk shows on with LeBron. It's pretty interesting stuff that
Yeah,
he's
he was
done.
in a Transformers.
He was in
That
Transformers.
movie. Where they're like in a
Gerard
desert. They're like he's like a junkyard, and he's like the black dude with glasses.
Yeah.
In the Transformers.
Carmichael. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what
so-
you're talking about.
On the movies topic, what's your favorite funny movie? What's your favorite comedy?
I would have to say Superbad.
Yeah.
Superbad's a
Yeah.
It's
classic.
on
It is a
Netflix right now
classic.
too.
Post
I just watched it. I just watched it the other day.
Yeah, I'm always quoting that shit.
McLovin. Would you, if you got a fake ID, okay? Quick question, because I actually have people that were gonna get a fake ID, and they told me they were gonna put McLovin on.
Yeah, I
their
need
name.
one.
What would your fake name be?
One
word.
I would probably just use my real name, but if I
Yeah?
had to like
If you had to
do
choose
a
one.
fake name, probably like
Carmichael? No.
Bryant.
Bryant. Bryant.
Are you a Kobe fan?
I am a coach.
Nice. I didn't even catch that. Actually, did not catch that.
I thought about this. I was like, if I was a porn star, my porn star name would be Michael Bryant.
Michael Bryant. That's a
Michael
porn
Bryant.
star
That is a
name
porn
for
star.
sure. What's your porn star name?
People tell me I have a porn star name.
Mateo Rico.
Mateo Rico, yeah.
That is kind of porn.
Low key.
Yeah.
Low key.
I didn't catch it until someone told
Who
me.
has
Yeah,
a
you're
big
right.
porn star name is that kid from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Very
Ah.
porn star name.
Finn.
Yeah, now you say it, yeah.
Finn Wolfhard. That is a fucking mouthful. Probably is.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that's dope that you're doing it. It's really interesting that you're doing it. What would you say is the most challenging thing so far on this journey that you've been on with comedy?
I would say the most challenging thing is just getting out there. Really, is just getting booked for more shows. like you could do all these open mics, but the really thing is you want to get to is you want to get booked for shows, and that's what I did. I got booked at Flappers Comedy Club. I kind of have like connections with them, so they book me like once a month,
Right.
sometimes more. And my challenge is I want to start going to other comedy clubs and getting booked at other venues and stuff.
What and who pushed you to go out and do that? Because I mean, like I have a, and I was telling you before the show that I have a business centric like mindset. Like I like to work on projects, and I've let you know that like I've failed at a lot of projects. But part of those failures have taught me that like you have to go out and get your own. Like you have to go out and network with people and do that. But I didn't learn that on my own. It was something that like you gotta do it. You know, like you have to go out and make something happen on your own terms. No one's gonna do it for you. What in yourself or who told you that that's the method of doing it?
My friends, I think it's his cousin. His name's Victor. He did stand up too, but he doesn't do it no more. My first time doing stand up comedy ever was at the Ontario Improv, right there by Ontario Mills. I did the amateur night.
Well, let's do it.
Which is a 3-minute open mic. They got to pull your name out of a hat, and if they pull your name out, you get to perform.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, and if they don't, then you don't
Just go
perform.
on.
How
Your life.
nervous were you waiting for your name to be pulled out?
I was pretty nervous because, like I said, that was in April, and I already made up in my mind in like September of 2017. I was like, I want to do this. I told my dad, I was like, I'm going to the open mic in September, and this was like in August of 2017. So I already knew in my head like I want to do it. I just gotta go do it.
Right.
You know.
Commit.
Yeah, exactly. You just gotta
Pull the trigger and
rip
make
off
it
the
happen.
Band-Aid, you know, and just fucking do it.
That's awesome. If you were to go back a year ago before you made this decision of being a comedian and actually doing it, what's one thing that you'd probably tell yourself? Like just going a year back.
I would say just don't stop. Just keep yourself in it and just be you and just don't stop. Just only you could stop you.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Pretty much.
100%. 100%.
Who and how many people have told you that you can't make it or that have zero belief in you?
I mean, no one has told it to my face. No one has said that, like those exact words to my face.
Have you felt it? Have you felt like a vibe where someone
I've kind of like felt like, oh, you don't support me, or I kind of felt like that vibe, like if you'll only come to my show if it's convenient for you, like, cause like I said, I get booked in Burbank a lot, so it's like, you know, LA area. And a lot of people will be like, oh, that's too far. That's too far. Like,
it's not even that far from here.
It's not that
What
far.
is it, like a 30, 40 minute drive?
Like 40 minutes.
That's
like
not
if
bad.
there's traffic, like an hour.
There's a good amount.
But it's a Wednesday night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is it usually Wednesday nights?
No, I've performed on like Saturdays, Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays. Just depends.
What about Fridays?
I've done Fridays, yeah.
Okay. Just checking.
Well, I'm definitely going to be there at this show. For sure. I think you have work that night. You have school that
It's my
night.
second day of school.
I'll be there. It's my day off, so I know that I've been saying that I'm going to be there. So I'm definitely going to come out there. Cold Hour will be there, so definitely check us out. I'm down to give a shout out, some signatures if you want it, some pictures. You're welcome.
Oh yeah. On that note, let's drop in a quick little snippet of Johnny's performance, and yeah, we'll be back right after this little snippet.